Find yourself in the Beachview area of Pittsburgh? Check out the official pizza of this show, Slice on Broadway, sharing an abnormal obsession with pizza we can relate to. Check them out at sliceonbroadway.com and tell them this show sent you.
On today's show, we will be talking about A Million Ways to Die, taking on Maleficent. I am butchering this, but that's okay. We're going. We're also going to be talking about Johnny Depp and his role as Houdini. Magic, anybody? Also, we might be talking about what's going on with Ant-Man. No, we will be talking about what's going on with Ant-Man. And we'll wrap it off with some X-Men. Hey, welcome back. This is the Rambling Movie Minute. I'm your host, Mulango. And also, we have the great Mike Sorg. Sorgatron.
Behind the ones and twos, flipping the switches, knobbing the dials and all that kind of stuff. Ready to talk some movies. And I saw a movie this weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes! More than just Veep.
We also have, coming live from New York, Mad Mike.
I'm not sure how exactly one knobs the dials, but I saw 3 movies this week.
Oh my.
Jeez.
Oh my.
I have no idea how many movies I saw this week. I want to say it was just 2.
We'll explore that together, Mulango.
Thank you. Will there be flashlights involved, or
what?
just push me onto? All right, hey, box office this weekend, right?
Yes. What happened? I think there were X-Men.
There were X-Men. There were a lot of X-Men.
A lot of X-Men.
X-Men pulling in $90.7 million. I think that was actually shy, but I think they're on track to beat the old movies records.
The old X-Men movies?
The old X-Men movies.
Nice.
We also had Godzilla. 31.4 million coming in second. It's a pretty good stand, although, I mean, based on the close to 100 million, that's about more than 50% drop. But it was going up against X-Men.
It made its money.
And poor Adam Sandler still trying stuff. Him and Drew Barrymore came together for Blended, which did 14.2. The sad thing is, I don't know if that was a profit or not. That can't be a profit because they shot on location in South Africa. So
wow.
I read that it was the second worst debut for one of his movies. The only one that was worse was That's My Boy, I think.
I barely heard of this movie.
Oh, you did?
Barely heard of this movie.
It's like there should be 3 direction or 3. Oh, what is it? The Kevin Bacon thing?
6 degrees. Like 6 degrees.
Yeah, of Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore movies.
Well, you don't really have to do a 6 degrees because they've had like 3 or 4 movies together.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah. So,
and Sorg, the reason you haven't heard of this is because you don't have cable and you haven't had to suffer through every single one of their commercials.
Oh wow!
Because good God, they're horrible.
I'm kind of glad I'm missing that.
Yeah.
I don't think you're missing much.
No. Awesome. So,
oh yeah, so that was this week in movies. But moving on, we're trying a different format this week. We're trying to streamline things,
mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. See how this format works. So we're gonna hit on some tidbits of movie news that we thought were interesting to us. So the first one I'm going to hit on was Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp has been slated to do the next Houdini movie. And based on first initial thoughts, based off his last movie, Lone Ranger, I think this is much more up his alley.
Yeah.
And to note, I'm pretty excited about this. It's Lionsgate Films, which kind of, I don't know, like necessarily, I mean, it's not like Warner Brothers, it's not like a big house, but I think Lionsgate's starting to get up there with notoriety. So, I don't know, I'd like to see where this goes in terms of what directors come on board and what definite angle they're putting this. Like, I think it'd be awesome to see Johnny Depp popping out of a box that's been, 300 leagues under the sea while he's trying to unchain himself. I think that story plot with his kind of character plays well to something interesting on screen. Man, Mike, you have any thoughts on that?
So wait, let me get this straight. Johnny Depp is going to play a quirky guy who has some sort of magic or mystical qualities about him. Color me shocked.
It's kind of like coming down to, well, what can Johnny Depp do? It's like,
that's like saying, okay, so we're not gonna have another Pirates movie. Let's find something that's kind of similar to Pirates, where a quirky guy gets himself out of a whole bunch of situations and doesn't die. Oh, Houdini!
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I wonder if this is part. No, because it's Lionsgate. It's not Disney, so I don't. It's not part of that contract. The contract of him having to do X amount of movies, where he's like tied down to. Man, at what point does that deal just seem wrong? Where he's like, I don't know if this was the best creative. Now he's getting paid. What are we saying? He's making money.
I don't think it ever seems wrong for him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you want me to put on makeup and act like an Indian guy? No problem. I'm game.
That check's gonna clear, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Oh man. Hey, Mad Mike, tell us more about this Ant-Man. I heard was it the lead actor who left?
No, it's the director. Edgar
the
Wright.
director.
Yeah.
Oh, how does that work then?
Yeah, apparently there are some creative differences in the movie. Like Marvel sent back a whole bunch of notes saying that they wanted a bit more like of the Marvel universe and some stuff to do with the tone and the morality of the movie, and he kind of just walked.
Oh,
wow. So right now, Ant-Man is the first movie of Phase 3 of the Marvel universe, and they don't have a director.
Wow.
And I don't even know if this means like like Paul Rudd was signed on to play Ant-Man. There was one or two other people, I forget their names, but they're also like slated to do Ant-Man, but now no one knows really what's going on with it.
So I mean, typically Marvel Studios has been pretty tight in the development. Again, like you said about like the crossover about everything and making sure the tone is right for their characters. Is this our first kind of casualty of that kind of relationship?
Depends. Do you count Terrence Howard?
With
Iron Man from Iron Man 2. The actor who played Rhodey.
Oh yeah, really? Is that really why he left? No.
Yeah, I didn't think that was creative.
Like I know when they talked to him, he said, "Yeah, they just kind of didn't let me back."
Well, I heard that he was making the most money out of anyone on the first Iron Man movie.
Wow.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. I don't know how he compared to Robert Downey though, but
yeah, but Downey before Iron Man wasn't a big name again.
No, that was his resurgence with that one.
Well, you also
like,
had
when he said "I am Iron Man," everyone was like, "Okay, let's put him in a whole bunch of movies now."
Yeah, that's interesting. But I mean, that's all right. I mean, the person that replaced him, I thought is a good actor. I'm happy with.
Oh yeah, Don Cheadle is fine, but also this is just a minor thing. The director of the Daredevil miniseries, I think, also changed. It's the guy who did Spartacus now.
Oh, okay.
So that could be interesting. I mean, I didn't watch Spartacus, so I don't really know much about him. But you know, if Daredevil's being done in a similar kind of style as a Gladiator movie, a Gladiator TV show, that sounds fine for me.
And just because they have the showrunner doesn't mean that it's going to be a style thing. You know what I mean? I mean, Zack Snyder did Watchmen, and I don't attribute that to being basically like, you know, Man of Steel.
And this is for the TV series because
for the Netflix series.
I'd like to see his spin on that. I mean, it definitely lends to a darker Daredevil, but I mean, I guess that is the Daredevil.
That's the Daredevil we want.
Yes,
Daredevil is kind of Marvel's Batman, right?
Yes.
Is that too weird of a thing to say?
Huh.
No, I think that's about accurate.
I could say I never thought.
Because in the long run, he's not like terribly super powered.
He's not rich.
And he's not rich. Well, he's a lawyer, but he's like a pro bono lawyer.
Yeah.
So that doesn't count. But no, but he's just very, very fine-tuned because of his blindness, apparently.
And if you just look at Hell's Kitchen as like a mini Gotham, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. Although Hell's Kitchen's basically Chelsea now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what the realtors call it.
Oh.
But
Now it's all hipster, and it's a different kind of scourge that Daredevil fights.
Yes.
Right. What else is going on? There's something else in the world of Daredevil, right?
not that I know of. Do you know something
Oh,
else?
maybe this is the guy we're talking about. My bad. I was confusing my news stories.
What is the news story?
I thought they picked Daredevil or something. I thought you were saying.
Oh
that for the
no,
show.
I didn't want to talk about that because it's speculation.
Speculations.
And I don't care about speculations.
I'm with you.
The news source for that was some Latino. I guess it's a Latino guy who.
Latino review.
Yeah, and
they're actually pretty good when it comes to speculative stuff.
Really? Well, I mean, who was the guy? I didn't post that, Mike, but you wouldn't have known that because I didn't make a doc. I forget what show it was. Boardwalk Empires. There's one of the characters from Boardwalk Empires, who got slated for it, but they're speculating that he might be the one who's picked to do Daredevil. I mean, I'd be interested to see, but
I'm watching it either way. Like, I feel like it's going to be relative unknowns that are going to be part of this series because it's a Netflix series.
Yeah.
So
Charlie Cox is his name.
Charlie Cox. Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am, especially with as much as we're getting out of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and now an Agent Carter series. I really like what they've done so far with their television version Marvel Cineverse. And how that's kind of overreached to everything. So, yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with this.
Yeah, I mean, Daredevil's definitely going down a hole, or not a hole, but it's definitely opening up a door with Netflix that I think is very interesting.
Here, that's been pointed out in the chat room. No S on Boardwalk Empire, sir.
Oh, sorry.
People are serious about their Boardwalk Empire.
Boardwalk
I think Chachi will probably shank you for screwing that up.
Last season.
Hell yeah.
I like the way they alluded to, well, it has to end. He got caught.
No spoilers. I haven't even started it yet.
It's based on loosely valid facts.
Okay, I'm not like a history major in Atlantic City, okay?
Oh, man. It's a good series.
I know. I should check it out. It's on the list.
You would have to get HBO, but there's a nice joke about HBO. I want to say Saturday Night Live did it. But somebody asked for the password. Oh, no, it's Funny or Die. They asked for the password, and they show a list going as far as Obama asking somebody else for the password to an HBO subscription.
So everybody's like just on one subscription for HBO, passing it around. Yeah. I love that.
Wait. Does that mean I'm the one guy paying for HBO?
Yeah, probably.
It was funny.
Damn
hey,
it.
What's up? Oh, you're gonna say something.
Damn it, he's the only one.
Hey, let's.
I need my True Blood fix, guys. Come on.
That's a show I did not get into, but one of my coworkers said there's a lot of sex and blood, which I guess means I should get into it.
I call Game of Thrones Tits and Dragons.
We call it murder tits in my
household. I call True Blood Tits and Fangs. Like, it's basically the same concept.
Nice. I do like murder.
I
do like murder.
my HBO roll call is of course Game of Thrones, Silicon Valley now,
awesome
and
show.
True Detective. Really sucked me in.
The problem with True Detective, and this isn't really a true problem, hence first world problems. It's too much in depth. I know I need to like sit down and focus.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to that one. Yeah,
I can't block out 8 hours.
There are only 8 episodes.
I know. Blocking out a solid 8 hours is really hard right now.
And Mike, you're not alone because Chachi says he pays for everybody else's HBO. Chachi, I do not get my HBO from you. That's the one thing I don't get from you. So, we're allowed to talk about that thing? Is that? I mean, how's Comcast with that stuff? Anyways, let's move on to something else that will not get us in some legal trouble, Lango.
Yeah, so I'm still trying to figure out stuff. I want to talk about trailers, interesting trailers for movies coming out.
So they're like, what's coming out in the
This
next week?
Yeah.
Is going to be what we're going to do with this segment, right?
Yep. So I think the big throwdown, the two big movies are Maleficent with, I still call her my girl Angela Jolie, but that's starting to fade, and A Million Ways to Die.
Mm-hmm.
Between this throwdown, I originally came out thinking A Million Ways to Die would be the front runner, but Mad Mike seems to think, and as well as you, seem to think different because of the Disney backing.
I think so. I mean, it could go either way with this edition. This is Sleeping Beauty, right?
Yes. Well, so I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It's the story of the witch that was from Sleeping Beauty.
So it's kind of like it looks like it's more focused on the bad guy. Didn't we get something similar to this with Snow White or something? Like I know there's like Snow White
the Huntsman,
but that wasn't a Disney film. That was something else.
No, that was just kind of a retelling of the actual storybook.
Yeah, with Thor.
And that had Kristen Stewart in it, so you know it had to be good.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, man, I should repost my comic strip on that. My comic strip was basically her with one pose, and the director saying, just give me anything.
Quick note. Well, first of all, Johnny in the chat room is saying Maleficent is definitely going to rule the box office. And also, you can borrow his crib notes for True Detective.
That would be interesting. But I want to watch it. So it's like, I don't want to skip True Detective. I just want to
You got to get to that episode where they do the one shot for like 10 minutes at the end. Oh my God, it's amazing.
I just want to give it its due credit. Like, that's the thing with like binge watching right now, where it's like right now I'm forging my way through The Shield. And it's like, it's easy to watch The Shield.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't really have to listen to everything.
The worst thing was we were getting on DVD and Netflix, so it was like 4 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
It
well,
was tough.
I finished season 3 and I had to pause because I'm like, all right, I actually have to get work done. This isn't good. I've already seen this.
Yeah, you got to work on your flow. You got to work on your flow, man. Anyways, back to the movies. No, Mike made a good point. You want to reiterate your point of why you think Maleficent's going to do better than A Million Ways to Die in the West?
Well, first of all, it's Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, it's Angelina Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
Thirdly, kids are not going to be able to see A Million Ways to Die in the West.
And
they might not even be able to see X-Men.
And we've seen a lot of kids' movies really kind of take off here because there's not so much. Oh, there we go with the Frozen again. Don't sing too much or we'll be pulled. Disney's a bear with those things. I'm worried showing that trailer that we just did. But no, they're really looking for something that the things where the kids and the adults both enjoy it.
Well, I don't know if it's the kids and adults and both enjoy it. I don't know how many.
I think it helps when a parent goes and says, "I'm going to laugh at this thing," like a Lego movie, like How to Train Your Dragon, the Shrek effect.
Are you guys thinking this is going to be a humor?
No, but it's something that's not like kiddie. You know, this isn't just a kiddie movie. It doesn't
insult the adults watching the movie.
No.
And it looks visually stunning.
Mm-hmm.
Like that alone, like it's gonna be in 3D. It's gonna be in large screen formats. I don't know if it's gonna pass IMAX, but it's gonna be.
It's gonna pass for a big budget, awesome. Need to see this in a theater film as well. Mm-hmm. Versus A Million Ways to Die in the West, is funny. Looks like it's going to be hilarious, but really, in the long run, it's nothing that would be a destination for me for seeing in a theater.
It looks like if Family Guy did a Back to the Future 3 episode.
See, that's the one thing I will agree. Seth MacFarlane is going up against the fact that his comedy can kind of be placed in any kind of timeline. It's not something that you have to go see now, because if you see it 3 weeks from now, it's going to be the same as fun.
I watched Ted at Chachi Plays last year.
But I don't know, there are a lot of people that enjoyed Ted, and I don't know. That's why I think the longevity of this, I could totally be wrong with this. I think the longevity of this movie, though.
Yeah, but Ted was also unexpected to do that well.
Yes.
And I don't remember it going up against much stiff competition. Like right now, it's going up against 3 big superhero franchises which are out there, and Disney and Godzilla. Like,
actually, I just looked at the next 2 weeks, and I'm probably going to, change my thought on that. Next week we have a huge action action film with Tom Cruise on Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day.
So I think that's gonna cut off whatever's left of Maleficent. And then,
I don't think that's going to be the case at all. I think that one is going to bomb and bomb hard.
And then we got June 13th.
I'm seconding that.
And we got June 13th.
It looks like the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, it looks like someone made the DVDs of Oblivion and Groundhog Day have sex with each other.
That's what we did. Make that joke at my office. Like, didn't he already do this movie with Oblivion?
Like, unless every time Emily Blunt shoots Tom Cruise in the head and he wakes up and I Got You, Babe is playing, I'm not going to find anything enjoyable about that movie.
I don't know. I'm excited. I like a good action flick, and although there's a lot of holes that you could poke at Tom Cruise, like I don't know. I'm gonna see it. But after that, you got How to Train Your Dragon, which is going to sweep up
Just obliterate
everything.
Just obliterate everything that's out there. Yeah.
All right. I think it's a good matchup. If I'm wrong, then 1 point for you guys.
So, of course, we've been holding it off, but the big one, we all saw the X-Men this weekend.
Hold on.
No, what?
On. Aren't we going to talk about what we watched this week besides X-Men?
Yeah, let's start with what we watched this week.
I watched nothing but wrestling.
I watched How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh,
I know that.
Wait, you hadn't watched it yet?
I finally got to see it.
Oh man,
I hadn't watched it.
What did you think?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it, and I can see why you guys are saying that the sequel is going to be amazing.
Yep.
It was a super, super fun flick.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And it had David Tennant in it, which I always approve of. And the supporting cast was actually very funny.
Yeah. If you're looking for some more, they do have some of the extras. Last I knew, they were on Netflix because they have a lot of DreamWorks stuff on there. Like kind of the spin-off, like included DVD stuff, specials, and Christmas special and all that kind of stuff. If you want to find some more, and
well, they did a whole mini series too.
Well, yeah, there's also a cartoon. Is it a mini series? I thought it was like a ongoing cartoon.
Oh, it might be an ongoing then. I don't know.
I don't know. I thought it was a mini series.
Well, last I knew that wasn't on Netflix, but there is a little bit extra on Netflix, and mostly it has the same voices. I think the cartoon, like the regular cartoon, has different ones, but
yeah, I never got into the cartoon, but the movie, hands down, is one of my favorite animated movies.
Oh yeah.
So, what else did you watch, Mad Mike?
I also got to see Tron Legacy, which I had never seen before.
So you got some good techno music.
Well, first of all, are you familiar with the original?
Slightly.
Okay.
I hadn't seen the original, and most of what I knew of it was based on the Simpsons 3D episode. But I mean, I got the general gist of it.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed the movie. I really liked it, and I kind of wish I saw it in the theaters.
Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was good to see in the movie. It had a very large scope in the movie.
Oh yeah. You could tell just by the way they shot it and the way it was constructed and everything.
I think I was actually trying to think. I was like, I've seen 2 movies in the theater in 3D, and I couldn't remember what the second one is, and I think it was Tron.
It's Tron.
I'm pretty sure it was Tron.
I try not to see movies in 3D unless they're animated, and I mean, I honestly can't remember the last one I had to see because it was like, oh, that's the only showtime. But
I was this close to going seeing an X-Men in 3D because of the showtimes. This close.
I remember.
And I'm like, no, I'll do this one.
It was.
It didn't help it.
No,
it didn't help. It didn't hurt it.
302. I had to see that in 3D. Men's pecs coming at me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Learned a little bit about Mulango tonight.
I didn't enjoy it in 3D, Mike. All right. Hey, was that it, Mad? I can't freaking talk.
Yep.
Mad Mike.
That is what I saw this week. Yes.
Awesome. Hey, from the chat room, Wheels says that he watched Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 and The Croods. He enjoyed them both.
The Croods, freaking awesome.
Yes.
DreamWorks is blowing my mind with like the competition. This is the worst year for Pixar to take a break. I'm sure they didn't say like, hey, we're going to take a break. But man, DreamWorks is in a great position.
That might be the reason they are taking a break, though.
It
because
gives them more credibility.
And then Bobby also saw Machete Kills today. It wasn't as good as Machete, but he's kind of, chat removed, kind of looking forward to Machete Kills again in space. Was that a spoiler? No, you're not down with that. I love that kind of humor. I love that kind of cheesy humor.
I need to see Machete Kills.
Me too.
I need to see Machete Kills.
Should we do a Google Hangout for Machete Kills?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no. I saw the campaign with Zach Galifianakis and Will Ferrell.
I think I saw that one.
I was pleasantly surprised for what it is.
Yeah, that was fine.
Will Ferrell.
I'm hearing folks and sounds from New York.
To make me laugh.
It was a great 10-minute SNL sketch that was back to an hour and 45-minute movie.
Toward the end, it was kind of like, all right, how are we going to wrap this up? But
they definitely did not know how to end that movie.
Yeah, I am glad I didn't spend money to see that in theaters. But yes, I enjoyed that. I don't know what else I watched. Oh, well, besides X-Men. But yeah, that was it. I think I had a pretty somewhat relaxed week of movies.
It's good. Awesome. Can we talk about the X-Men now?
Let's talk about X-Men.
So, okay, non-spoiler. What did you think?
Okay, if I'm going first.
Pre-spoiler.
All right. So I enjoyed the movie. I am an X-Men fan. I think I was coming off.
Now, you're not a comic reader.
I do have we talked about this. I have the one series where they have to go back in time. Okay. That's the one that I'm on right now.
Okay.
But sadly enough, I don't know, something about coming off the low of Godzilla. I think I was just worn out from like week after week of movies. I don't know. Maybe I'm like going.
You didn't have enough energy left for this one.
I wasn't as excited. There were some very cool scenes. But I don't know. I guess I was expecting something more intense, but I definitely liked the movie. I recommend it. I liked I liked it. Without getting into spoilers, that's my general.
What about you, Mike?
I saw it twice, so I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm gonna say it's my favorite movie of the summer so far. I think that still belongs to Cap 2.
Yeah,
but it was very, very good. It fixed a lot of things that I had hated about the X-Men movies, and I loved seeing James McAvoy play a different kind of Charles Xavier. I love that. Like, where we found him, that was fantastic.
Yes, that's good. That was good.
You know, it really felt like going into this, you didn't really have to. If your first X-Men movie was First Class, maybe the Wolverine, you're okay starting there.
Yeah.
In the long run.
Well, I feel like they should watch 1 and 2.
As long as you have a general idea of who, like, Patrick Stewart is, Ian McKellen,
or I feel like if you just came into the X-Men movies from the comic book, or however else you discovered the X-Men, this is a great place. I wonder how the movie plays the people who are not as invested in the X-Men. I know Missy saw it with somebody who knows nothing about the X-Men, and I'm really curious to see how she did, because there's some complicated things going on here.
Yeah.
Always with the time travel.
Sorg, I can speak to that a little bit because I saw it with my girlfriend. Does not read comics, but has seen all of the X-Men movies. And she really enjoyed it. She had a couple questions, but she really enjoyed it, and for the most part was able to like follow along with what went on and didn't really question too much of the kind of iffy stuff.
I think generally, as a movie, I think I'm with you. Cap 2 better than X-Men.
Yes. Wait,
Yeah,
you're saying Cap 2 is better than X-Men? Yes, I agree. Especially for me, coming from someone who didn't really like the first Captain America and thought the second Captain America was hands down a billion times better. X-Men, like, the thing with X-Men with me was, like, there were so many complex things, but I don't know, was it action? They gave us action.
They definitely gave us action.
I mean,
but it was not psychological, but there was a lot going on.
Like maybe the philosophy of why we're doing what we're doing.
It was a heavy philosophy of mutants and why do we hate them kind of thing. I also absolutely love. They did this great with First Class, and I love how they did it here with the period piece.
Yeah.
Like there's little hooks, like there's a little thing about JFK where you're like, oh, okay.
People
you know, like
theater.
how they have interjected the X-Men, and this is something that doesn't even happen really in the books. Like this is something extra that they have done.
And Sorg.
That they've injected the X-Men into the Cuban Missile Crisis. Now it's tiny spoiler, the JFK shooting, but I'm not. You don't know why, how, what. And this happened in 1973, and it does happen, and I don't think this is a spoiler either. It's happening around the Vietnam Peace Treaty.
Yeah.
So.
And also, one thing that I kind of lost my mind a little bit about, and this isn't a spoiler at all because everyone knows it's in the 70s, so Nixon's president. When they come in to talk about the mutant problem, they come in to talk about something off the record. Nixon pulls a drawer in his desk and stops the recorder.
Like I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I did notice that.
That blew my mind. I'm like, okay, someone was thinking. Someone was thinking when they did this. That's really good. Really good.
And beyond that, I feel like again, there was enough to throw back. If you've watched all the movies, I feel like if you watched all the movies and you're an X-Men fan from other mediums, there is a lot for you. That's where Bryan Singer picked up more than most others that have done these movies. It seems like he's the only one that has had regard for the original material. Yeah.
Well, there was an article where they were saying like, since he wasn't on the third movie, like this was kind of him saying, "Screw you guys for messing up my movies.
Yeah,
this is the way it was supposed to be done."
Exactly.
When me and my friends were watching this, like Thursday night, we went to Alamo Drafthouse and we saw the first showing and everything. We were saying that we almost wanted the post-credits scene to be Ryan Reynolds walking out with two swords and just turn to the camera and say, "Hey, sorry about Last Stand. We cool now?"
Exactly. No, and I'm hoping if this is the new, it erased all the bad stuff. Actually, we should get into some spoilers.
Yeah, we get into spoilers.
We're gonna get spoilers. All right, Mike, do you want to do your thing? If you're on audio, if you're on video, this is the point where you need to turn it off. You're on your own after this.
You are entering another dimension, a dimension of sight and sound, a dimension where a man will run around a room and try the macaroni and cheese. You are entering the spoiler zone.
I love my mac and cheese.
What the hell is happening? So no, they reset. First of all, straight to the end of the movie. They basically hit the reset button on everything you know about the X-Men. Yes. So none of the movies matter anymore. I akin this to what Star Trek did.
Okay.
Like
I don't know if all of those. I don't know if all of those movies are non-canon now. I don't know about all of them. Well, I'd say Last Stand definitely, but I wouldn't be surprised if at least some version of X1 and X2 still happen.
Sure. But I mean, I think you can say, okay, these movies belong over here, leading up to this movie, and now we can do this, and we can't really say, oh yeah, remember that one time when William Stryker took you and did this, and Gamut was there for some reason, and there's this girl that was kind of like the White Crane, and blah, 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 blah. The only thing that exists in this universe, for sure, is First Class.
Well, because before
still
the
say
age,
part of X-Men because Rogue is at the school.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I mean we see Scott, and by seeing Jean Grey there, we can assume that Phoenix has not happened yet, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we could still keep in mind that the first and second movie might still have existed.
No, wait a minute. Why are we assuming Phoenix hasn't happened?
Because
Phoenix absolutely could have happened.
could it?
Absolutely.
She gets resurrected like I don't know how many times.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of the point of Phoenix.
But I mean, in the second, when do we see Phoenix? Because I was going to actually rewatch the first and second
X2
one.
and X3.
X2 and X3, but doesn't her like appearance show up in the end of X-Men 2 where she's like, I'm going full Phoenix, and in 3 she's basically just killing everybody and Wolverine has stuff.
That's right. She dies. She quote dies at the end of 2. So
I would assume the way, I mean, yes, okay, she could have been resurrected, whatever, but the way Scott like did the thing with Wolverine, like, hey, hold on, that makes me think like they're not quite to that Phoenix point, but whatever.
No, but I mean, just because the Phoenix happened doesn't mean Cyclops never stopped loving Jean.
Yeah, I guess I'm going in the chronological order of.
Well, I mean, because they're 50 years in the future from the 70s.
Yeah.
So they're in 2023.
That's right.
Clearly,
Deadpool has a chance.
Shit has gone down.
Deadpool has a chance of actually being Deadpool, according to Bobby.
Yep,
correct.
That is a very good point. And also, most of the Wolverine probably didn't happen because Logan didn't kill Jean.
That's true too.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen, they have not done an X-Men movie that did not screw up something alongside another X-Men movie. For instance, there's one pointed out, okay, Stryker is super young and doesn't know who Wolverine is, although I think that's a little suspect. Maybe he does, actually.
Yeah.
Yet, he meets him during Vietnam
I think that was how,
in Origins.
That was how Stryker got introduced to Wolverine.
No, because this is the end of the Vietnam War, and they meet during the Vietnam War in Origins. Now, keep in mind, now I can explain that. Keep in mind, Wolverine is everything before the end of Origins, Wolverine doesn't know. And so he wouldn't recognize Stryker from that time period. And, aside from the fact he's played by a different actor, just leave that for what it is.
Yeah.
But Wolverine also... And also, you can say that Wolverine didn't know who Sabretooth was in the first movie from that, too, because of his memory.
And also, he's not a professional wrestler.
Yeah. And later Wolverine isn't going to remember what Stryker looked like or any of that stuff, or at that time period that he actually knew him.
Yeah. So, based on the ending, are we just left to conclude that there is, 30... No, was it 30 or 40 years? Whatever. 50 years. We're left to assume that Wolverine continued his life just not knowing he was himself? Because the last shot was Professor X.
No, Wolverine, like, the way it's explained is that, the only thing Wolverine in the present, when he wakes up after the movie ends, the only thing he remembers is being drowning in the Potomac.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't remember how he got there. He doesn't remember anything about meeting Xavier or meeting Magneto or Mystique or anything like that. He doesn't remember any of that because that was all the consciousness of future Wolverine.
Yes.
But didn't they say in the beginning of the movie that because we're sending him back, he will now have 2 histories that only he would know?
He will only know the first one is the problem. So he's got to get filled in on the rest of them. So anyways, bringing it back around, other than the theory, the movie itself. I don't know, the movie itself. What do you think?
All right, so the movie itself, the one thing I loved about the movie is the fact that we got to see people die. We saw the heroes going up against an unstoppable force, and at that point, there was nothing they could do about it.
And you saw, like, Magneto being a ruthless Magneto.
Yes. And I thought that... I'm still talking about the beginning of the movie, but yes, I like that fact. I loved Magneto when he realizes later on, the young Magneto, when he the epic argument in the airplane between him and Xavier was phenomenal. It made it definitely a valid point of you could understand his side to the argument. And then I love the snap where he's just like, screw this. Like, what's the point? And he just takes matters into his own hand. Magneto is an awesome villain. And his rise to villain.
And even with the kind of the Magneto coming back around at the end and sacrificing himself.
Yeah.
Yet he's like tearing things up in the past. You know? Like it's like that needs to happen for him to get to that point.
Well, the argument is, did he really Oh, are you talking about the old Magneto?
Old Magneto. And again, we don't know what Magneto looks like now and what the deal is. Maybe we'll find out in the next movie, but which we got to talk about that for a moment too. But no, the dichotomy of the two histories really playing mostly on, Wolverine is your pivot point for everything that happens, but it's all about Xavier and Magneto.
Yeah.
Completely, the entire thing. Quicksilver. I know we're going to get another Quicksilver next year with Avengers 2, but I really love this version.
No, wait, wasn't there some discussion on they're not the same Quicksilver?
No, they're not.
Well, it's different universes. It's different universes, and they both get them because Quicksilver is also a part of the Avengers. And officially, that wasn't Wanda. That was his sister in that one scene.
Well, no, a lot of people think it might be Polaris.
That could be, but she's supposed to have green hair. So
yeah, but she was also a little kid.
That's true.
You can dye your hair, Sorg.
That's true.
But I
that's
have
how that works.
before we get back onto Quicksilver. What did you guys think about basically all of the secondary cast of First Class dying?
Yeah.
Emma, Banshee, Angel, Azazel, all of them dead. Like, except for Havoc, all of them were dead. That bothered me a little bit.
Was it explained how they died?
They were captured and experimented on.
Was that it? I thought it was just the war.
That was the whole thing. That's why Mystique Raven goes to kill him because of all of her friends and what happened.
Like when she snuck into Trask's office, he had autopsy reports.
That's
from the
true.
mutants. And that was the reason that she went to save Havoc, Toad, Spike, and Ink in the military base. That was the whole reason that scene existed, because she didn't want to see them die too.
Very, very politically, kind of, not like direct politically, but very involvement and entwined. Like, it's a good movie. I'll definitely give it
there's a lot going on, and you don't have to catch all the little things for it to be a good movie, but there's just so much there for you.
Even the fact that even Wolverine, somebody had a discussion on the fact that he's playing a more humbled Wolverine. I didn't think that was bad. Like, he still, beat up the 3 dudes when he woke up. So we saw a little bit of the badassness, and but I think the contrast between when he got off the plane in the future, where he has his cigar and it's like that typical like, oh, there's badass Wolverine, to where he has before he has his whatever, the metal.
Adamantium.
Yeah.
Adamantium. Yeah.
And they even played to that joke where Magneto's like, oh, imagine if those were made of metal, and you see the
and even leading to when they take him out there and he wraps him in that metal, that scene like kind of plays off of the scene where he takes the metal out of him in the comic.
I mean, and also like the Wolverine with bone claws almost has to be played a little bit differently, because he can't be as vicious, because you can't like swipe at someone with bone claws. You're just gonna break your bone claws.
Yeah.
Like, the reason the adamantium works so well for Wolverine is because it's like one of the hardest and sharpest metals on Earth. Like, it can't be broken, it can't be bent. So you can swipe all day at anything you want, and you're not going to damage the claws at all.
Yeah.
Can somebody explain something? Because I'm not sure this clicked. When Magneto did the metal through him, and we see him drowning, aren't we supposed to be left with he's possibly dying? And if he dies, wasn't that alluded to? If he died, it would mess up stuff?
Well, first of all, Wolverine can't die.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
So he can sit there and drown, and no matter what, if he's had brain damage from not having oxygen.
As soon as they pull him out of the water, he was restored. But what they were talking about with his consciousness being linked, basically at that point he was out of the equation anyway.
Yeah.
The pieces were set in motion. Either Mystique was going to kill everyone there, or she wasn't.
Yeah.
At that point, and it was up to Charles to try and talk some sense into her, because even if Kitty was able to keep Wolverine's consciousness at that point, he wouldn't have been able to do anything because he was being magnetized into the Potomac River.
Okay, real quick, I want to wrap this up, but real quick, what are your favorite points? If I can go first, I think I mentioned this beforehand. The Quicksilver slow motion sprinkler scene is one of my favorite scenes from a movie this year.
That was a good scene.
It was very playful. It was fun. Him moving everybody. I mean, you've seen that scene before.
Yeah.
But it's kind of it was fun. Like I loved this version of Quicksilver for that. Mike.
Oh man, there were so many scenes. I was gonna say that the Quicksilver scene, but I'm gonna go with something that it's just a very little thing I laughed at when they're attending the White House presentation, and Xavier goes through the metal detector, and he's like, "Of course, because I'm in a wheelchair." And then Wolverine walks through, and he expects the metal detector to go off, and nothing happens.
Which is a callback to the very first X-Men movie, if you recall.
Yep, and it's a callback to the scene after in Wolverine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Those were both good. I think I go back to still liking our battle scene. One shot particularly was the last battle scene where Storm throws all the snow out and stuff, and that first attack where you just see them coming. You really get to see the X-Men cut loose like they haven't yet. Yeah,
and that's amazing. And you're like, hey, Storm kind of has been wussified, it feels, in those first few movies.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, this is what Storm's really supposed to do.
Yeah,
it's pretty tremendous.
So, but yeah,
same with Iceman.
Yes, the character Bobby. Yeah. I thought. I mean, emotional connection I thought worked, but yeah, I mean, those characters in their state, I think it played off well on film to show these are what they like to their extreme stress. This is how they would react, and I just like the impending. It doesn't matter that you're X-Men. This is your future.
And also, it was lovely to see Kelsey Grammer back in blue fur again.
Yes.
To me, he is Beast. I know he's not physically gifted or anything like that, but Kelsey Grammer is who I hear in my head.
He was the high point to X-Men 3.
If you could give him Sideshow Bob's ferocity from Simpsons and his voice and Frasier, that's Beast. That's perfect.
I'm with this definitely.
By the
way, also the Bolivar Trask.
Oh yeah, he was good.
Yeah,
it's Peter Dinklage. It's Peter Dinklage. He's awesome.
He's awesome, and I know it's weird. It's like they made Trask a midget, but you know what?
Yeah.
I think it added to this version of him.
Sorg, was he on trial for being a dwarf? All his life. All his life, Sorg.
Yes, exactly. Wow. I love how all that came together. So I hope...
Before we wrap up, we need to talk post-credit scene.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Post-credit scene?
Oh.
Sabanur. And Sabanur.
Those that don't know, and Sabanur is the real name of Apocalypse. Go look up Apocalypse. Go read Rise of Apocalypse. Go just find anything with Apocalypse. Go subscribe for a month to Marvel Unlimited. Look up the character Apocalypse and just hit that shit, okay? Basically, there's Apocalypse. It's survival of the fittest. He's the world's first mutant from way back in the Egyptian times. As we saw, that's actually a flashback that they showed. And yes, 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Sorg, I wrote a theory in the chat room that I want to present to you guys both before we sign off. I would very much like Angel, Banshee, Azazel, and Emma Frost resurrected as the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse.
And at least two of those, well, a version of Angel, of course, is a different kind of Angel, but Banshee has been actually what I'm reading right now with Uncanny Avengers. He's one of the Horsemen. Yeah.
How cool would that be?
That'd be a nice run around there. That'd be really.
I'm gonna
nice.
have to pick up the Age of Apocalypse.
Well, I mean,
especially if Apocalypse finds out that these mutants were killed because of genetic testing. He might be a little bitter about that.
Anybody else, random, but anybody else want to see Mr. Sinister just because in this movie?
Of course. Okay. All right, quick, Sorg, before we sign out, who would you cast as Mr. Sinister?
Oh, jeez.
I say Hugo Weaving.
That would work. Yeah, I'm going to second that. I'm going to second Hugo Weaving as a little red thing on his. Yeah, that would really work. Definitely.
Hello, Professor Xavier.
Amazing. Well, of course, if you want to check out, if you have anything to say, first of all, if you have other great chat room here tonight, you can join us around 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time at live.sorgatronmedia.com. We do this stream live, and there's a chat. You can hop in, and it's been going pretty good. Age of Apocalypse. Digital comics are 50% off on Marvel.com's comic app. And Bobby's saying that Cable's going to be in the next movie. And I have seen the second, and he told me first, but this one's supposedly going to be set in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are moving timelines.
So we are just kind of doing the reset button, and we're going to... And you know what? The last two movies have been period pieces. I love the idea of an 80s version.
Yeah.
I'm excited seeing Magneto tear down that wall.
And also, you can recast just about anybody from the movie now, except for a handful of people.
They definitely
to be
opened that
whoever
door.
you want. We can have a different person as anybody from the... Like, we have a different Storm, whoever. It doesn't matter. So.
Lupita Nyong'o as Storm, please.
There you go.
I'm serious.
Somebody wants less money than Halle Berry. So with that, guys, anything else you got to go? You're the host. Cut it out.
Oh yeah. No, I think that's it. Just
at Rambling Mango.
I'm at Rambling Mango. I have a website that will be officially, I believe, launching with any luck next week.
Give them a website. Give them the website so they can preview it. They can figure it out.
And you can, if you have questions or if you have movies that you want me to review, hit me up on Twitter at Rambling Mango. And Mike,
I'm
Mad Mike.
I'm Mad Mike 4883 on the Twitters, and you can catch me also on the Wrestling Mayhem show later tonight.
I'm at Sorgatron. You can catch me on all the things on sorgatronmedia.com. Yeah, let me know what you saw of X-Men 2 and everything, and everything geeky. I talk about it all. So with that, we'll see you guys next week.
Yep.